ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ, ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਐਂਡ ਮਾਈਲਸ NRI UK ਦੇ ਨਵੇਂ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚੱਲੀ ਹਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਅਮੇਜ਼ਿੰਗ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵੱਲ। ਜੀ ਹਾਂ, ਲੈਸਟਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਨਵਾਂ ਸਟਰੀਟ ਫੂਡ ਸੀਨ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੇਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਨਾਨ ਸਟਾਪ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਇੱਥੇ ਲਾਂਚ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਇਹ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਕੋਈ ਆਮ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਫੂਡ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫਲੇਵਰਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਮਿਲਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੇ। ਵੈਲ, ਮੇਨ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਇਜ਼ ਕਿ ਨਾਨ ਸਟਾਪ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾਨ ਦਾ ਫਲੇਵਰ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਾਫੀ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਅੰਦਾਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ। ਐਂਡ ਮੋਸਟ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟਲੀ, ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਅਤ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਬਾਲੀਵੁੱਡ ਮਿਊਜ਼ਿਕ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੇਸ਼ ਹੀ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ ਹਾਂ। ਆਓ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਨਾਨ ਸਟਾਪ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ, ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਮੈਨੇਜਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਥੋੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ।
ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਟੇਸਟ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਲਹਿੰਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਵੀ, ਦੋਨੇ ਪੰਜਾਬਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟੇਸਟ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ ਨਾਨ ਸਟਾਪ ਤੇ। ਔਰ ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਜੋ ਟੇਬਲ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਛੋਲੇ ਭਟੂਰੇ ਪਏ ਨੇ, ਸਮੋਸਾ ਪਿਆ, ਔਰ ਨੌਨ ਵੈਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀਮਾ ਨਾਨ ਹੈ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਮੈਂ ਕੀਮੇ ਨਾਨ ਕਦੀ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਟਰਾਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ, ਫਸਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ। ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੜਕ ਚਾਏ ਵੀ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੜਕ ਚਾਏ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲਾਹੌਰ ਤੇ ਆਲ ਦਾ ਵੇ ਟੂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਟੇਸਟ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਨੇ। ਤੇ ਲਓ, ਆਓ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕਰੋ ਨਾਨ ਸਟਾਪ ਦੇ ਮੈਨਿਊ ਨੂੰ। ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਛੋਲੇ ਭਟੂਰੇ ਟਰਾਈ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਔਰ ਫਿਰ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਮੋਸਾ। ਸਮੋਸਾ ਤੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਫੇਵਰੇਟ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਸਮੋਸੇ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ 20 ਦਿਨ 'ਚ ਦੇਵੇ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਖਾ ਜਾਵਾਂਗਾ। ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਕਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਟਰਾਈ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਜ਼
ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਐਂਡ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ।
ਕਿਵੇਂ ਤੋਂ ਕਰਾਂ? ਇੱਕ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕਿਹੜਾ
ਦਮ ਕੀਮਾ ਨਾਨ
ਚਿਕਨ। ਲੋ ਜੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਰਿਕਮੈਂਡ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਸਟਾਰਟਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਕਰੋ ਚਿਕਨ ਦਮ ਕੀਮਾ ਨਾਨ। ਇਸ ਲਈ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਹੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਨਾਨ ਸਟਾਪ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੈਨਿਊ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵਰਾਇਟੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਨਾਨਸ 'ਤੇ ਬੇਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾਨ ਹੈਗਾ, ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਤਾਂ ਲੋ ਜੀ, ਚਿਕਨ ਦਮ ਕੀਮਾ ਨਾਨ। ਲੋ ਜੀ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਵੇ ਨਾਲ ਟਰਾਈ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ। ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਚਿਕਨ ਦਮ ਕੀਮਾ ਨਾਨ, ਇਹਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਹੀ ਬੜਾ ਲੰਮਾ ਮਾਰਿਆ।
ਦਮ ਮਤਲਬ ਸਮੋਕੀ ਫਲੇਵਰਡ,
ਸਮੋਕੀ ਫਲੇਵਰ ਕੀਮਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ। ਲਓ ਜੀ, ਬਾਈਟ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ, ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਲਈ स्पाइसी है, मगर अगर कोई कस्टमर स्पाइसी ना खाना चाहे
नहीं, हमने इस पे ग्रीन चिलीज ऐड करवाएंगे तो हम नहीं ऐड करेंगे।
और अच्छा, इसमें ग्रीन चिली नहीं पाओगे? ओके। सो मैनू जिदा मैं पिछले एपीसोड भी दसना हमेशा कि मैं स्पाइसी इन्ना खाता नहीं, मगर जिन्ना कि स्पाइस ना हो, टिक ना हो, अगर अपने एशियन खाने या इंडियन खाने या साउथ एशियन खाने च स्वाद भी नहीं आता। लेकिन इट इज़ गुड, इज़ वेरी स्पाइसी। बट उन्होंने कहना जो तुम स्पाइसी नहीं खाते तो ग्रीन चिली अवॉइड भी कर सकते हैं। हुण मैं छोले भटूरे की बाइट लैना और देखना कि इनका की स्वाद है। एक्चुअली दिस इज़ मेरी ऑनेस्ट ओपीनियन ना, हमेशा मैं ऑनेस्टली तुहाडे नाल गल करना जो मैं रेस्टोरेंट के रिव्यू वास्ते जाना। समथिंग जो चिक पीस ने जिन्होंने आप छोले करने, ये वाइट छोले ने, ये बड़े डिफरेंट ने। एक तो जी मेरी फेवरेट चीज़ है कि इस ऑयल बहुत घट है, जो मैंने को बहुत अच्छा लगता है। और दूजा ये बड़े थिक सॉस ना बने हुए हैं, जो डिफरेंट स्टाइल के। वरना जो छोले भटूरे ने वो मैं हमेशा देखना कि वो थोड़ी तरी होंगी है, यानी कि करी होंगी है। सो बट दिस रियली गुड ऑन द थिक सॉस, वेरी गुड पोर्शन। यू कैन नॉट वेस्ट, फूड वेस्ट भी नहीं करना चाहिए, उन्ना को जिन्ना एक आदमी खा सके। और उनके उत्ते अनियन है, कोरिएंडर, एंड आई थिंक इज absolutely right, and spice level is also very good. Not met anyone yet who do not like the samosa. So samosa lover for you all and my love too. Yes, cheers. So जी हाँ दोस्तों, मैं उम्मीद करना कि तुहानू अज जिहड़ा मेरा विजिट नान स्टॉप दे विच चंगा लगा होएगा। और जे तुसी भी लेस्टर दे विच रहिंदे हो या लेस्टर तो बाहरों आए हो लेस्टर च एज ए विजिटर, तो मेक श्योर तुसी नान स्टॉप तो जरूर विजिट करो। जी हाँ, असीं नाले गलबात करांगे मारिया दे नाल जिहड़े कि इस रेस्टोरेंट नू लुक आफ्टर करदे ने।
We are all about naans. We have different flavors of naan, almost 12. From veg to non-veg. We also have sweet naans. The best-selling naan is pistachio kunafa naan. So you can't find sweet naan, I guess, anywhere else. And then the dough we use, it's proper Pakistani dough. We import some products from Pakistan to reach that level of the quality. So these are really amazing naans. That's why we are called non-stop. I can challenge you, you can't get this chai anywhere else, because it's when I came here, I used to miss Pakistani Indian chai, because here, if you get milk or tea, you can't get this proper taste. This takes you back to your home. this chai, and then I think if you love lamb, go for lamb keema masala naan. That's our best selling item because we put raw keema in dough and then cook it on slow flame on tandoor. And if you're a vegetarian, I'll suggest you to go for chana bhatura and samosa chaat. Those are our best selling items in vegetarian.
ਹੁਣ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਾਉਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਖਾਸ ਸ਼ਖਸੀਅਤ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਹੈ ਕੁਲਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੋਹਲ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਲੈਸਟਰ ਦੇ 5ਵੇਂ ਲਾਰਡ ਮੇਅਰ ਨੇ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈਰੀਟੇਜ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਲੋਂਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। 6 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਯੂਕੇ ਅਰਾਈਵ ਹੋਏ ਤੇ ਇੱਧਰ ਆ ਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਕਲਚਰ ਤੇ ਹੈਰੀਟੇਜ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਪ੍ਰਮੋਟ ਵੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਕਾਬਿਲੇ ਤਾਰੀਫ ਹੈ। ਆਓ ਕਰਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕੁਲਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੋਹਲ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ।
Before we start talk about hearing from you for your new appointment, tell us a little bit about where you grew up, where you born, and when you moved into Leicester.
I was born in Punjab in India, in a very, very rural setting. And the times were unaffected by technology and infrastructure at the time, so this was early 70s. Spent 6 years there, and I have fond memories. And then we moved to Leicester with my family, and I really enjoyed that period of my life, going to school here, transitioning from speaking Punjabi only to becoming bilingual, speaking English fluently. And I've got extremely fond memories of growing up in the inner city terraced house streets. No, I only ever had 2 homes. One was in Punjab, in the village Thing by Falard, which is in the district of London. And then my second home is here in Leicester. These are the only 2 places I've ever lived, and I love them both equally. I moved to Leicester when I was 6 years old. And it was a difficult transition because I had to go to school with kids that spoke only English. You know, the Punjabi community or the Indian community was an absolute minority then. So I was one of few people in school that spoke Punjabi, so I had to transition very quickly. First few months were very, very difficult. And I felt lonely and I felt a little bit isolated. But as, you know, the months went by, and by about the summer of the year that we came in, after about 5-6 months, I'd picked up a good level of English. At that point, I really started enjoying life, and I remember that. I remember my English getting better. I got more and more involved in the classrooms. I started to play football, and I started to become very good at football. And all of a sudden, you know, the dynamics changed. People wanted to be, or the kids wanted to associate themselves with me, and it was a good feeling. And you know, I felt that this was going to be my home, and I felt very, very comfortable to do, because that's what I saw around me when I was growing up. We were a textile city, and I wanted to be something in that line. I you know, wanted to gain the right qualifications, a right academic background before I went into work for the big companies here. And we had some fantastic companies, Richard Roberts, T.W. Kempton's, Cora's. All of these, you know, appealed to me. I wanted to work in those places before I opened my own business.
What inspired you to move into the public service?
I think the public service is part of what we do as a community. So if we talk about the Punjabi community or the Sikh faith, they're both all about selfless service, which we call seva. And we're born with it. It's in our DNA from a very early age. We're doing it. I mean, I was just saying about me not speaking English when I came to the UK. Well, it's very, very ironic that at the age of about 9-10 years old, once I'd learned to speak English, that I was actually interpreting for other families and people at offices, for example, like the job centre and stuff. And that sort of, it's so ironic that from a very early age I was doing something that I couldn't do for myself, for others, but I was doing it as just seva. I was going with people to help. My family told me to go and do it because of the nature of the community that we live in. That transitioned into helping or doing seva, just like everybody else does at the local Gurdwara, which was Guru Nanak Gurdwara, which was on New Walk at the time. And then over a period of time, the better you are at helping people, the more people ask for help, and before you know it, you know, all of a sudden you're sort of entangled in a community that's always reaching out to you. I became General Secretary of the Guru Nanak Gurdwara. I was fortunate enough to be the General Secretary when Her Majesty the late Queen came to Leicester in 2002. I remember that very, very fondly. I was involved with football from a very early age, like I said, and then at the age of about 18, I started to play for G&G Football Club. And then later on, at the age of about 29, I stepped onto the management there, onto the committee. We transitioned from being a sort of a one-team club to now where we've got about 60 teams of football players, mainly children, and we have 13 girls football teams. So that's basically my seva to society, and we don't do it for reward. We do it because that's part of being a Sikh, I suppose, which is in our DNA. Yeah, I've grown up in a very, very diverse city. My early years, I saw the difficulties that I had as a person or as a family that came from another part of the world. So I can relate to people that are not necessarily born here. They have arrived here with their families or they have arrived here on their own. I can see the difficulties. But I can also see from the host community, because apart from the 6 years that I lived in India, most of my life has been spent in the UK. Most of my friends, they still live locally to me in LE3. We went to the same schools together. And many of them are the existing communities that have lived here for hundreds and hundreds of years. So how do I see that I can help the city of Leicester? I think the first thing is that I probably understand the city better than a lot of people, than maybe a lot of other potentials for being Lord Mayor. Not that it goes against them, but having lived here and breathed here and seen the difficulties, I just think I'm far, far better positioned to be able to help those communities. And I'm also here with an approachable attitude. So the office of the Lord Mayor, the title itself seems to be very, very sort of dazzling. You think, Lord Mayor, not for the common person. However, the Lord Mayor role is the common person. In me, what you've got is a grassroots person that went from terraced house accommodation, living in a terraced house in the inner city, to living now still within a stone's throw away from the city centre, which is Narborough Road. And, I'm as hard-working as any local lad, hard-working as anybody that's grassroots, but also I being in the public service, you get to meet a lot of people that necessarily don't know this side, but they have another side to society that we can sort of touch up on or bring into our own lives, into our own skills. So there's another skill set that we've learned dealing with other people from other parts of the society and other parts of the community.
You're the fifth one, Lord Mayor of Leicester from Punjabi heritage. What mean to you this?
I think it's a tribute just to be the Lord Mayor. Being chosen by my peers, which is the fellow councillors, and being chosen unopposed, I think that's in itself says a lot. When I was growing up here, we had, for a minute, I'll say the English community. And we used to have the Punjabi community, and we used to have the West Indian community, and we used to have the Gujarati community. So you could almost count the number of communities that resided in Leicester on one hand. That has now all changed. But the point, going back to the Punjabi community, is that the Punjabi community has lived in Leicester for a very long time. They have contributed, I feel, heavily to the city. That could be with seva, or it could be with other parts and other skills and other businesses that they bring to create opportunities for employment, etc. So I think that 5 Punjabi Lord Mayors of the city tells its own story, which is a wonderful story to say that the Punjabis have contributed massively to this city, but still align themselves to the true values of this beautiful city.
What's your goals for next 12 months as your Lord Mayor?
The goals for being a Lord Mayor, they are quite simple. One is anybody in distress. You know, if the system has failed them, whether it's a council system or anything else out there, I want to be the ear. And if I can help at their point of need at any stage, that's what I want to do. But I want to do that with respect, and I want to do that with humility, and I want to do that with the cooperation of all the other organisations and authorities that work and operate in the city. My door's always going to be open. I'll never turn anybody away. If somebody's going to ring me, ring me. If somebody's going to email me, email me. And I'm not here because, for a bit part of the journey. My journey in Leicester started 50 years ago, and hopefully it's going to continue beyond my term of Lord Mayor. My nature of helping people is going to continue. The only difference now is that I'm able to do it in the role of the Lord Mayor.
How you will engage young people in the community work?
I feel that I'm already doing that, and I want to do more of it. As you get to a certain point in your age, what you've got to look at is who is going to run the legacies that you're leaving behind? Who is going to run the organisations of the future? And how do we pass down the skills and the experience that we have learned, and in many cases that we've learned the hard way? So already there's a group of people that I work with, you know, away from the council, away from the Lord Mayor. There's a group of about 20 people that I help and that I mentor to become the leaders of the future. And that's in GNG, that's a sports setting. And I don't mean coaches. Coaches is a vocational qualification. So those coaches we do help to try and get them into a professional environment. However, I mentor people that want to work in society, that want to do the civil, that want to give back. And we've probably got about 20 hardcore people. They're very, very young. They're very, very determined. But what they've got is the backing of some serious senior people to say, we are going to make decisions from an early age. Some of the decisions they're going to get wrong. Now, there's nothing wrong in getting decisions wrong as long as we identify at a certain time that they were wrong and we could have done it differently. But every wrong decision does not necessarily mean that it was taken wrongly. If you lack certain information, or if you have information which is substandard, sometimes that can lead to a wrong decision. So these are all the sort of things that we are teaching these younger people to say that be bold, make decisions, and we go again. If you make a wrong decision, we'll go again.
What legacy you like to leave as a Lord Mayor of Leicester?
My legacy as Lord Mayor, I think it's, one, giving everybody a fair hearing. So if somebody comes to my door, if somebody rings me, I don't want anybody to say that they weren't listened to. I would want to attend to each person. I'm not guaranteeing that I'll solve everybody's problems, but what I'm saying is at least they will have an ear that will listen. The other thing is that whilst we work in an environment where many people don't know where their next meal is coming from, many people are homeless. Yeah, many people don't get the adequate medication that they need, which could be the difference between life and death. I want to help Midland Lunga Seva Society, which is one of the charities that I've chosen, and the hospitals charity, which is the second charity that I'm working with. I want to ensure that I make as much funds available to them as possible this year for them to continue and further their projects, but also to make people aware that these two fantastic charities, in some cases, are as simple as life and death.
What's your message for people of Leicester as a Lord Mayor?
My message to the residents of Leicester is that in me, as Lord Mayor for the year 26-27, you've got somebody that has gone from exactly where you are, the houses, the factories, the schools of Leicester, and I've gone onto the pinnacle of being a senior citizen of the city. So, you know, you guys have chosen me to be the first citizen of the city. That in itself is an honour, yeah? if I can do it, and came to Leicester speaking no English, the chances and the opportunities are there for everybody, okay, to be anything that they want to be, anything that you want to be. You know, you don't necessarily set out to be something, but if the opportunities arise, you have to take them. Don't look back, keep going forward. Every year, every month, every day, every person in the city should be looking to develop themselves and see how they can help others in our society. If we can get that mentality, then I'm sure that the city of Leicester will be an absolutely fantastic and strong city.
ਅੱਜ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਨਾਨ ਸਟਾਪ ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਵਾਈ ਕੁਲਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੋਹਲ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮਿਲਾਂਗੇ ਹੁਣ ਅਗਲੇ ਹਫਤੇ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਵਾਂਗੇ ਕੁਝ ਨਵੇਂ ਇਵੈਂਟਸ ਤੇ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਇੰਟਰੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਨਵੀਂ ਸ਼ਖਸੀਅਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਐਂਡ ਮਾਈਲਸ NRI UK।